Good morning, LSA Academy. This is Dr. Dave Acosta, chiropractor from right across the street, and also parent for LSA Academy student in 11th grade, and also friends with Coach Ashley Walters. And so she's asked me to bring a message of health to our school, and I am gladly going to do so. I'm bringing this video to you from Bandon, Oregon, if any of you know where that is. We're out here with some friends and just having a great time. But I wanted to take a moment to pause and to give a message of health and inspiration, and so that we can learn together as a community. So I think we should get started. Today's message is on stress and what we can do to help identify our stress, find out which is the good stress, the bad stress, and then what we can do, to live a healthier life. So let's just get started. I wanted to tell you that there is definitely a couple different types of stress. There's good stress, and then there's bad stress. So good stress can be deadlines for assignments. They help us to get moving, get stuff done. They put a little pressure under us. Sometimes we need that pressure so that we can produce. So that can be a good stress. Another good stress would be exercise, stressing out your heart, weightlifting, doing push-ups, pull-ups, playing sports. You stress out your body, but the end result is it gets stronger. Your heart, your lungs, and your muscles get stronger. So that can be an example of a good stress. Another good stress would be, for instance, compacting maybe dirt so that it decreases water penetration, or maybe it creates more of a barrier and keeps areas of the yard or of our land safe. So that can be good pressure. So we can use pressure and stress for good things. But the bad type of stress is the one that puts too much force or too much basically too much force and too much weight on something, and then it basically causes it to collapse. So that can happen also, if we're really stressed out with our schoolwork, if we're really stressed out with, different things. So I wanted to break down the bad stress into a few different forms. The first one is physical stress. And there can be different forms of physical stress that can actually be bad for your health. So let's find out what these are together. And so the first form would be sports and sports injuries. And so there can definitely be a lot of stress on the knees with soccer. There can be a lot of stress on the body or on the joints, with playing sports for, a long period of time. There can be injuries. Posture can also be a bad stress on the spine, so you want to make sure and have good posture, and we can definitely do another video on that, or a little class on that soon. Injuries, they put stress on our body and can cause them to break. Again, they can be sports injuries, slips and falls, injuries, from different activities that we do. Car accidents, motor vehicle collisions can put stress on our body, and we need to definitely have a professional look at that, a healthcare provider, examine our bodies after an accident, because that can cause, that kind of stress can break our body down. Weight, if we are carrying too much weight on our body, whether it's our own weight or maybe our backpacks are too heavy, but that can create stress on the spine and on our shoulders, so we want to be careful not to do that. Also, if you're not sleeping on the right surface, let's say that your bed is not comfortable, it's too hard or too soft, or maybe you're not sleeping on a bed, that can cause stress on your spine, on your neck, on your low back, so on your shoulders. So you want to examine that. Being on Zoom for too long, being on Zoom for more than 30 minutes without taking a break, I think is too much. And so we need to get a break and stand up and stretch. And then also maybe having the wrong type of shoes, they're too tight or they're too loose or they're not comfortable. That can create stress on our feet and our foundation of our body, and that can, work against our health. So you want to have comfortable clothing. I mentioned backpacks if they're too heavy, or for those teachers and administrators, if you're working too much, that can cause too much stress on your mind, on your shoulders, on your body. So you want to be careful with those forms of physical stress. Okay, moving from physical stress, let's go to chemical stress. There's another form of stress that can hurt our body, that can hurt our cells, that can hurt our health, and that's chemical stress. So some of those can be bad foods, foods with a lot of sugar or preservatives or additives. So basically, if it comes from nature, if God made it, generally it's going to be better for us than if it was made in a lab, if it comes in a package. So apples, walnuts, avocados, cherries, oranges, tangerines, those are all generally very good for our body. But if they're made in a lab, like Doritos and Takis and Gatorade, and that stuff is not necessarily going to help the chemistry in our body. So it's just kind of a simple rule there. Let's see here. So basically, junk food versus health food. Drugs can be a chemical stress on the body, whether they're prescription drugs or illegal drugs, but they can definitely stress out our brain and our nervous system and our body. So we definitely want to be aware of that. And then also things like vaping and alcohol and e-cigarettes, and that can be a big stress on the body that can really ruin our health and our brain and get us into trouble. So we want to know that that can be a bad chemical stress on the body. All right, we're making good progress here, moving right along. Chemical stress, to add a few, if the perfume is too strong or right on the skin, or lotions or cosmetics, if they have a lot of chemicals, sometimes they can cause stress on our skin and maybe give us rashes or bumps or allergies. So you want to be aware of that. Okay, let's move on to emotional stress. The other form of stress can be emotional stress. And so if we maybe have a problem with a friend or family member and we're thinking about it and we're losing stress or we're losing sleep, that can be an indicator of emotional stress. If your mind is just so busy you can't rest or you can't experience peace, that can be really, a bad emotional stress. Comparing ourselves with others, looking on social media feeds and really, maybe feeling that we're not having as much fun or that we're not as good as they are, that can be emotional stress. Moods, sad, envy, anxiety, depression, those are all indicators of emotional stress. Being really hard on yourself, unforgiving to yourself or for others can produce a lot of weight and emotional stress. So be aware of that. That's very, very important to know. And then let's move on to just a quick recap. So there can be good stress, bad stress. The good stress is working out, putting some stress on our muscles, having some deadlines so that we can get things done. That can be good stress. But the bad stress could be things like physical stress, chemical stress, and emotional stress. So physical, chemical, and emotional stress. Okay, so we're learning together here. All right, and then we definitely have to present a solution. So what can we do if we feel stressed out? Well, the first thing is to identify it. What kind of stress do I have? Do I have chemical stress that might be hurting my health, physical or emotional, or maybe a little bit of this one and that one? The first thing would be to identify it, maybe even write it down, and then also to share it with a trusted person, maybe your parents, a teacher, a counselor, somebody that you trust, and that way you guys can brainstorm and get some ideas or pray about how to get better from this stress. And then thirdly, we need to make changes. We need to have some goals, write them down, and we need to make some changes so that this stress doesn't hurt our health, hurt our energy, hurt our body. And so that's important. And then we need to make a reevaluation in 30, 60, I like 90 days. In 90 days, reevaluate how that stress is impacting your life. So you can say on the scale of 0 to 10, how stressful is this in my life? 0 is it's not stressful at all, and 10 is it really bothers me. So reevaluate it in about 90 days. About 4 times a year is good to do a reevaluation. Have the courage to grow, finally. We all have stress and we all have challenges. They can be physical, they can be chemical or emotional, but we have to have the courage to grow. We have to have the courage to know that we can get better from, these forms of stress that are hurting our health or our body or our productivity. And we just have to know that we have to have the courage to grow and to get better so that you can help yourself. And as you become stronger and you become more balanced, you will be able to have a greater impact for your friends and family, and then for, for our community and beyond. So that's my message on stress, good stress versus bad stress. The bad stress is physical, chemical, or emotional. Have the courage to look at it and have a plan, reevaluate it, get some tips on how to get better from that. If you need some help, please contact me. And then also there's the good stress, the one that is caused with exercise, with running, lifting weights, doing push-ups, playing sports, knowing that we need to get things done. That can be good stress. So I hope this helped you guys. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I look forward to seeing you very soon at school. And in the meantime, just God bless you.